place Max Verstappen and taking his third win of this 2025 campaign, and McLaren's first here in Jeddah, our winner, Oscar Piastri. Oscar, very well done. The pace of the car looked awesome, and you drove a faultless race. What aspect of this win gives you the most satisfaction?
I mean, the fact that I crossed the line first, to be honest, it wasn't the easiest of wins. I think the start was tough. The first stint was tough behind Max, and then once I had some clean air, then it was a bit easier to manage. But I still couldn't afford to take my foot off the gas. It was a difficult race. And Max was quick behind me, so I had to keep pushing. And I think I could control it reasonably well, but it was a little bit tighter than I would have liked.
Well, you say you could control it. You set your fastest lap of the race on the final lap. Does that suggest that you had more in the tank had you needed it?
Maybe. I don't know how long I could have done that, but I mean, I felt like I was taking decent risks for the race. The last lap, I obviously wanted to see exactly what I had, but there's not too much point taking a crazy risk as well. So I think once we had some clean air, then our pace was okay. But the end of the medium stint, I had nothing for Max, and was a struggle. So I think the pace wasn't as much of an advantage as I wanted it to be, but it was still enough.
Lando Norris has just said in the pen that he thinks the Red Bull was the fastest car today. Do you agree with him?
No. I think our car was still quicker. I think it was difficult to be in dirty air. I think Max was quicker than I expected, for sure, in the race. I thought over one lap it wasn't, a huge surprise to see Max quick, but I think, in the race it was, I wasn't expecting to struggle so much at the end of the medium stint, that's for sure. So, I think clearly we've got some work to do. I think our car is still very good, but I think when you look at the layout here compared to Suzuka, it's the most similar so far, and it's been the two where Max and Red Bull have been closer. I think we still have an advantage. I don't think it's as big on surfaces like this and layouts like this, but I think we still have a very strong car at the moment.
Now, a key moment in the race came in the opening seconds. Can we just get your version of what happened both on the run down to turn one and through turns 1 and 2?
I got a great launch, and got myself alongside, and from that point, I knew that I obviously had to brake quite late, but I knew that I had enough of my car alongside to take the corner. We obviously both braked extremely late, but I think for me, I braked as late as I could without while staying on the track, and I think it was, how it unfolded is how it should have been dealt with.
All right, and Oscar, you're now leading the World Championship. You're the hunted rather than the hunter. Does that change anything for you?
No, I think, still want to go out and try and win every race I can. I was saying before, I think, I'm not that bothered by the fact that I'm leading the championship, but I'm proud of the work and the reasons behind why we're leading the championship. I think obviously Melbourne wasn't a great start to the year in terms of results, but from the moment I've hit the track this season, I felt like I've been in a good place, and I think at the moment leading the championship is a result of all the hard work we've done in the off season, the hard work I've done personally, the hard work the team's done. So I'm more proud of all of those things than I am of the fact that I'm leading the championship, because ultimately I want to be leading it after round 24, not round 5.
All right, very well done today. Thank you, Oscar. Max, let's come to you now. Many congratulations. Another great race from you this evening. Given where the car was on Friday, how pleased are you with the turnaround that you and the team have made this weekend?
Yeah, I was very positively surprised, to be honest, because on Friday it was very, very tough, and it didn't matter what I was doing in terms of driving management, the tires would just fall off. So the car was a lot nicer. Of course, still limitations, but it was much more promising. And actually, at one point when I started to pull away again, I was quite surprised, and positively surprised. Of course, we have to stay a little bit calm because this track doesn't have a lot of deck, and we know that when we go to tracks where there's higher deck, we just struggle more. We still need to work on that, but I have to say that the changes that we made already yesterday, they also worked for today. So I'm of course very pleased with that.
McLaren had a second on the entire field on Friday. Just how close do you think you were to them today in terms of pace?
I don't know. It's impossible to say. I mean, I also haven't looked at numbers, but for me, it was just positively surprised with my pace, it was much better than what I expected it to be. So that's a good thing.
Now, Max, you crossed the line 2.8 seconds behind Oscar. It begs the question of what might have been without that 5-second penalty. Can you give us your take on what happened at the start?
Yeah, start happened, turn one happened, and suddenly it was lap 50. It just all went super fast. So, yeah. The problem is that I cannot share my opinion about it because I might get penalized also, so it's better not to speak about it.
All right, let's not talk about the penalty. Can we just talk about the wheel-to-wheel racing between you and Oscar?
It happened very fast. Yeah.
Okay. Did you and the team discuss giving the place back immediately, or were you?
I think it's better not to talk about it. Anything I say or try to say about it, it might get me in trouble. So,
okay. Look, let's throw it forward then. What's needed for you to get on a par with McLaren? Is it now just a case of finding some consistency from race to race? Is that what you want more than anything?
I think we need to find more overall performance, balance especially, and of course consistency. We are not good at every track. That's quite clear. In Bahrain, we were lacking a lot. Here, for sure, it was a lot better. But like I said, it's also very low deck, and then of course more cars come alive. So yeah, we still have work to do, but at least it's a promising result. Overall, it's been a promising weekend. At the end of the day, we really managed to find a good balance or decent balance, and that's of course positive for us.
All right, very well done. Thank you for that, Max. Charles, let's come to you now. Max talks about it being a positive weekend for Red Bull. Do you feel the same about Ferrari's weekend?
Yes, I do. At least I feel like we've maximized absolutely everything we could have this weekend. There wasn't anything more. I think in the car, I think we need to focus on qualifying because at the moment, it's been a very long time I haven't been as happy with the car balance. And I feel very at ease with the car in a way that I know that I can extract the maximum out of the car more often than not. But unfortunately, the car potential is just not good enough to fight for better in qualifying. But in the race, I think the good car balance, had results, and I think we were all surprised by our pace in Free on the first stint. So that was really good. I think everything else was perfectly executed. Strategy was great. Pit stop have been great the whole season and also the whole last year as well. There wasn't much more we could have done.
You extended your first stint longer than anyone else on the medium tyre. How much management did that take?
Little. The car just felt good, and to be honest, I was very struggling. I was struggling a lot when I was behind George with the car balance, a lot of understeer, and I hate that. And as soon as he pitted, the front came alive, and the car felt a lot better. So then I could manage the fronts a little bit better, and the performance came much better once I was in Free.
So, do you think you now have the race pace to challenge for wins? All you got to do is start higher up on the grid.
I think we are close on the race pace. I think Freya dictates a little bit who is going to win the race. That's always been the case. For some reason, maybe this year a little bit more than other years. And obviously, when that is the case, qualifying is more important. But unfortunately, since 2 years, we are just struggling in qualifying to put everything together. Qualifying this weekend, the problem is that it's not always the same issue. This weekend was 4 tenths in the first 3 corners, or 3.5 tenths in the first 3 corners, and for the rest of the lap, we were fast. And now today in the race, actually, first sector was probably the best sector we had. So we've got to look at that. Obviously, there are answers in what we are doing, and we are doing something wrong, clearly. But we've got to find it, and we cannot lose too many races before finding it, because we're already 50 points down, I think, in the Drivers' Championship. Obviously, we are not looking at it too much, but 50 points is a big number. So I don't want to be losing more points than that in the next few races.
Charles, thank you for that. Let's now open this to the floor, please. Name and publication. Who's first?
Samarth Canal, the race. Max, I mean, you've just finished second and you're third in the championship and you're not far off, but it kind of seems like you're not in a mood to talk too much about what happened. And I'm wondering, is this still, all of this, is this still fun for you? Or has the enjoyment sort of been sucked out in a certain way? Because over the last few months, I've noticed as well, your answers have become a bit shorter and you just don't seem as happy maybe as you once were.
No, it is just has to do with social media in general, and how the world is. I prefer not to talk, or not a lot, because sometimes your words can be twisted or people interpret it in a different way. So it's honestly better not to say too much. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, next one.
Welcome back, guys, to Saudi Arabia. Marwan Hamdan, الشرق الأوسط newspaper. First of all, many congratulations for you all, especially for you, Oscar. You did a great job. And it's your first win in Saudi Arabia. I want to know, how do you feel of that, being the 5th edition? And also, sorry, Charles, last year you were 3rd at the same place, and now you said you are near to the most base of the other teams. So do you think next year you'll be in the 1st place? And Max, I want to know about sorry, I have a next question. You said it's a positive weekend for you guys. Do you think you are near in the base and going after McLaren and come back stronger? Thank you, guys.
I mean, I'm happy to win anywhere and ideally everywhere we race, but it's a track I've always enjoyed. Even going back to F2, it was a track I enjoyed a lot and had a lot of success at. So, yeah, it's a cool circuit. Rewards a lot of commitment, and yeah, it was nice to win today.
I think, I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to try and win, but sooner than next year. Next year is a long way to go, and obviously there will be also new regulations and everything, so it's a bit too early to think about it. But yeah, we are definitely trying to push at the maximum in order to close that gap as soon as possible and win races. But I wouldn't want to wait Jeddah next year to win a race. No, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an interesting result here. It's been like second, first. So, I mean, it's positive. But yeah, I think it has been a positive weekend for us, honestly. Maybe didn't start off great on Friday, but we then, tried again a lot of things on the car, and we did get it in the window. So, yeah, from now onwards, we just need to work more on our weaknesses that we know we have, and we need to come with a few upgrades to fix that. And hopefully in the coming races, we can, see some progression.
Okay, thanks all. Next one, please.
Mark Manbrine's Autosport. Another question for Max, please. Max, since maybe Singapore last year, it does feel like you've had to bite your tongue a little bit when you're talking about things. Does it frustrate you that you feel you can't be open and that other people maybe do that talking for you?
like I said before, I think it's just the world we live in. You can't share fully your opinion because it is not appreciated apparently, or people can't handle the full truth. So yeah, for me, I mean, honestly, it's better if I don't need to say too much. It also saves my time because we already have to do so much, you know. So yeah, it's honestly just how everything is becoming. Everyone is super sensitive about everything. Yeah, and then of course what we have currently, like we cannot be critical anyway, so that's fine. Less talking, even better for me.
Okay, thank you. Next, please, Luke.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. Max, a question for you about Oscar's start to this season, because this will be the first time that you fought against him in a World Championship fight. What have you made of his start to this year? How tough a competitor for your crown is he going to be this season?
Yeah, well, I think I've said it before, you know, people sometimes, of course, forget a little bit. Like last year, it was his second year. Now, of course, he's in his third year and he's very solid. You know, he's very calm in his approach. And I like that. And I think it shows also on track. You know, he delivers when he has to deliver, barely makes any mistakes. And that's what you need to do when you want to fight for a championship. And of course, also, I think with Mark by his side, you know, he's helping him a lot, I think. And it's great. You know, people learn from their own careers, and that's of course what I had with my dad. And Mark is trying to also advise, I think, Oscar in that. And then of course Oscar has to do the job. At the end of the day, he's using his talent, and that's great to see.
Thanks for that. Any more? Yes, please.
Luca Bassani from Car Magazine Brazil. My question is to Charles. During the end of the race, Lando had a great pace. Did you fear that he might take your position at the last laps? And also regarding Ferrari, how do you see how competitive you see Ferrari for the the rest of the season, including the European tracks where you usually are more familiar with the track?
I mean, I knew it was going to be tight. He was very quick, and I wasn't worried. But I knew that it was going to be tight, and I didn't know what to expect with the traffic, especially. At one point I had to avoid, I think, Bortoleto, and I went in the marbles and I lost a lot of time, and Lando nearly got into my DRS range, which would have been a bit trickier than to keep him behind. But then I think he got stuck around 1.2, 1.3 for the last 2 or 3 laps. And yeah, I was happy to keep that position and to have the first podium of the season for the team. Then in terms of track familiarity, I don't think that has any impacts on our performance at the moment. I think we just need a better car. That's all we need. And at the moment where we'll be starting further up, I think we'll have our chances. If that's not the case, I think we are all too close in the race to make a difference once race day. So we really need to focus and try to put everything together in qualifying.
Thanks, Charles. Next, please.
Samarth Canal, the race. Max again. Look, I am sorry. I just for clarity's sake, I know you probably don't want to be sitting here after the race answering this question, but for clarity, where is this ire directed? Because you're saying that you're not allowed to say what you want to say, but is this directed perhaps at the FI's swearing rules specifically, or is it directed at something else? Because literally, just for the sake of clarity.
Well, no, I mean, I know that I cannot not swear in here, but at the same time, you can also not be critical or any kind of form that might harm or danger or. Let me get the sheet out. There's a lot of lines, you know, so it's better. That's why it's better not to talk about it, you know, because you can put yourself in trouble, and I don't think anyone wants that.
Just for today, I'm not gonna do any comment or to give any opinion. I'm just a bit of tired, and just we ask from you just don't forget to like the video, comment it, and also subscribe to the channel.